All right, everyone, part 2 of the video. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll link it, of course. Basically, I was using some of Kurt's Windex product to see whether or not we could get water damage-ish, moisture damage spots off of cards. And I was successful 3 out of 3 times. I've had cards, like I said in that video in the past, where it wasn't as successful, but with those it seemed like the water or moisture had been there for many years. So if you get to the cards soon enough, you can get a nice clean surface. This had some of those spots on it, and those came out without issue. Looks pretty good, aside from that print line on it. What we've got here for part 2 of the video is the more difficult part, in my opinion. And this is the part where Kurt would either make his money or not, and either have credibility or not, because this is why people buy this stuff. And like I said in that previous part of the video, it doesn't matter to me one way or another whether this stuff works out or not. Some people seem to, in the comment section of the video I did back in 2023, seem to think it mattered to me. It doesn't matter to me whether it's successful or not. Some people want to defend it. Some people want to talk shit about it. Some people don't like it at all. Me, doesn't really matter. I'm of the feeling of Kurt is a symptom, not the problem. Problem is crappy card companies who continue to put out trash. Got this Luis Lara Lunar print line there. It's a scratch, very faint, right down in this area, right here. Kind of runs this way. But then there's a thicker one right there. You see it? That might be too thick to get out, but what people tried to talk to me about in my comments recently was that Kurt never said that it could take out light scratches or print lines, and he did say that.
This stuff is awesome for certain things, for this little soft, little surface imperfections. Over time, the little oxidized spots. But again, it's you have a big deep scratch. It's not going to do much there, but it'll definitely enhance and bring out that natural, like pack fresh look that your chromes and Bowman's Best and all your cool refractor cards and stuff like that. So cool. So yeah, if you find little surface issues or those little lines, it's not the end of the world all the time. Just polish it up.
Shared the link to a video. He's got many others. Because if it were there just to take off fingerprints and other things, like some people suggested, why would you buy the product then? A microfiber cloth. This guy takes out fingerprints and other minor little things, card cheese, stuff like that. Card cheese, we call it card cheese? Yes. All right, so you saw those scratches. Not really too concerned about the print lines. I think those are too deep. Those scratches, I think they might be too deep as well. But we're going to start off with, of the 4 cards I think have the least potential to have the scratches buff out. Of the 4 cards, the Lara, going to go to the Collins, Baker, and then we'll close it with the Collins. It goes from most scratching to least. So as we get towards the end of the video, hopefully a better chance to see some results. Card number 1, Luis Lara and pardon my getified setup. What are we doing here? So unprofessional. Got your Kurtz, got your thingy. I was told a couple things. 1, that I didn't necessarily put enough on there. 2, that perhaps I didn't let it sit long enough, but if you listen to Kurt's videos, it says you don't need a ton circular motion with it, and that you don't want to let it sit that long. In my experience doing it in the first video, you let it sit too long. It's a pain in the butt to get off the card. With the first video, I only did 2 coats for each card, so this video, I'm going to do more coats. Go do 3, 4 rounds. See if we keep doing extra rounds, if that will go ahead and help us get some results, so we can either prove his defenders correct, or more so prove the naysayers correct. Once again, see a little bit of that spooge right there. Go ahead and look at this. After round 1, I might actually see a little bit of resultage. It looks like that scratch that was down in here isn't really there anymore. Surprisingly, I thought that one was going to be too drastic. Looks like there's still a little bit of stuff up in here. It's hard to tell. This overhead view, though, is giving me a better view. There we go. Let's shine the light. You can see it's still up in there by his hands. This one, still there a little bit. Let's go ahead and hit it some more. You can still see the print lining there and everything, but that wasn't really the focus. Let's go ahead and get another coat on there. For the next card, I'm going to do overhead view to start. That seems to give me the best ability to show you guys what's up with it. And I'm going to focus right now up in this area by his hands, and then the scratch down there by the numbers, because those were the most concerning to me, or things I thought that potentially could come out. I'm going to go ahead and run some along the print line as well. This main print line that was going down the entire card, and then a little bit on that print line that was right here in this area. Let's see what we can do with that. Unless my eyes are deceiving me, though, I think I see a little bit of resultage here. Hopefully we can get a little more with the second round. And for what it's worth, I've never submitted a card. I've said this before in comments or in the Discord. I've never submitted a card where I use this stuff. I don't know that I ever would. Doesn't matter to me. If it mattered that much, I wouldn't be doing it on this Lara right here. Though I like him as a player, he's still a little ways away, if he's even going to get there. This isn't a card you submit right now, in my opinion. All right, it looks like, as you can see here, that scratch in the hand area is still there. Print lining is still there. Some of this white stuff you see there, that's just the polish residue. And then the scratch is still... Scratching still there, print line's still there. I thought we were seeing some results after the first round, but it looks like maybe not. I'm determined. We're going to go ahead and do another round. Just keep doing it. Trying to give this a fair shake. That's why I wanted to do a follow-up. Don't want to just dismiss something. Put in the work when you do this stuff. Had a guy in the comments recently who was cracking me up. He was talking about how I needed to do my homework and how Kurt never said that it would get out print lines and scratches and things like that. Try to qualify it by saying deep scratches. It's like, obviously, yeah, we know that. Again, pointed him to a video where Kurt did talk about faint print lines, faint scratches and stuff like that, where you potentially could have some success. So I think that's what people are looking for. You know, if the scratch is super deep, like Heather deep, you're not going to have much success. It's still got a little bit of polish on there. You still see after the third round, it's right there. That's polished there. You can still see that scratch. Let's go ahead and hit it one more time. Like I said, we're going from worst to best. See if we can do anything here. I'm gonna focus up near his helmet as well. There was a little something there that you saw prior to me starting. All right, circulars. All right, it's round 4. Wax there. Still looks to be the same after the 4th round. So there you see that scratch still going through the wristband there. Oh look, no scratch. No scratch. Hold it at a certain angle, right? And I say that for sake of PSA and whatever they're doing over there. The way they grade their cards. See that scratch still there going up through the numbers. I don't know. Print lines look the same to me. What do you say? Any results on this one? Like I was just talking about with PSA, it's kind of funny if you get a grader, for instance. Not saying they do this or that they even have a bright light over there off to the side, but you can hit a card. Oh, look, looks great, right? Looks great. And if they catch it in the right light, then they could catch those scratches, right? But you see here, boom. It's a gem. Boom. Not a gem. All right, let's go on to card number 2. No faint print lines on this one. That's the issue you see here. Kind of running across. You see them here as well. And then down the card as well. So pretty much at every level. Leg, waist, arm area. So we'll go ahead and focus the Kurt's Card Care in those areas. See if we can do anything. Faint print lines, again, when this stuff's advertised as being able to get out faint stuff, that's what you hope for. You have to be reasonable with your expectations and not expect things that are super deep to come out. If it's advertised as being able to remove these things and it doesn't remove those things, well, you can decide for yourself what that is. Again, though, card number 2, we're going to go ahead and take 4 cracks at this, see if we have any success. And again, super faint print lines. So you would hope that you could see a little bit of action on this, a little bit of lightening of those lines. You see that residue? That's just the wax, right? But you still see the lines there. Lines are still there. Lines are still there, lines are still there. Let's go ahead and slap another coat on. No matter what you do, and some situations. We've seen this in many areas of life. Even when you present people with facts, they'll still form their own truth. One commenter, though, I thought was interesting, and I'll highlight that, a little screenshot here in post-production. He was saying that he bought a batch of this stuff and had no success, but that a buddy of his bought some and had success. So who knows? I think I made a joke about this in the first video. Maybe it was in a Discord somewhere. Maybe we just got a bad batch. Amigo, we got the bad batch. Your friend got the good batch. He got the good stuff, as they say. He needs to hook us up with some of the good stuff. Some residue there still. Let's go ahead and clean that residue off. To clean the residue, I'm just hitting it with the microfiber. A little breath action. Well, here we go. Just kind of rubbing it like that. Residue, obviously you don't want that on there if you're trying to send the card off to PSA, unless it's a Wembanyama. Looks to me as if the print lines are still at all levels of the card. And you can judge for yourself. There's no optical illusions here. Are you seeing any kind of result here? If you are, let me know. Round 3. It does make you wonder, though, if some people are claiming they're getting results with this stuff, like they claim on the Wembanyama, and see what or hear what they claimed. But if you are having people who are getting results and others are not, that would make you wonder why, right? The way the print lines were before I started on this Collins card, it's a silver rookie, well-centered. It'd be a 9 probably, because the print lines are so faint. So slight allowance for that, of course. So it's still a high-grade card. Still got some residue on it. Residue's tough to get off. That's why I don't recommend leaving it on for that long. Through the residue, though, you still see the print lines, at least at those levels, pretty clearly. Let's go ahead and hit it one more time. Hit me, baby, one more time. This is round number 4 for the Nico. This would be a card if, say, it were a quarterback. And no knocking on Nico. So definitely love Nico Collins in terms of a player. But if it were a Stroud or a Levis, a Richardson, something like that in a silver, where it looked like it could 9, then you just send it in. Take the 9, get it in a holder, maybe get a Stevie Wonder type grader. Yeah, you would take a 9 on it. You don't mess with this kind of stuff, I think. That's my opinion. Some people covet those 10s, though. Me, certain cards, certain silver rookies, certain autos or low-numbered cards, a 9 is good. You can still do well if you're trying to sell it or flip it or whatever. And if you are trying to PC it, at least it's in your PC and protected. Has some residue on there. But again, you can still see the print lines there, there, and everywhere. All right, clean that baby up a little bit. You can let me know if you saw any improvements. You know, something I'm wondering right now, you still see the residue there. I'm wondering if we hit it with the spray, would it get rid of that residue? Or let's say you were able to use the polish to get some temporary gains, mask some things. If you use the spray or a Windex or something, would it take the wax off the card to where it would reveal the flaws? All right, so after this Collins, we got 2 more cards left. Still some residue there, right? But it probably got some off. I'll have to get a closer look in post-production. But again, you still see the print lining there, right? All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Baker card.